Welcome everyone to another episode of Chi Life. Today I have Kimba Jade with me. So Kimba is an ecstatic dance DJ as well as doing other things. And so that's going to be our topic today. We're going to get to know Kimba a little bit and about ecstatic dance and um, Kimba's experience with that and I guess how that affects our energy. So I'm looking
Mm.
forward to this one. I've actually done a few things with Kimber myself. I attended. She runs some DJ training programs, and I
Mm.
came along to one of those, and some other things with her as well. So looking forward to having this interview, this discussion about ecstatic dance.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be here.
Great.
Mm.
So Kimber, I guess to start with, maybe you can tell us just a little bit about your background and a
Mhm.
little bit how you got into ecstatic dance.
Mm. Cool. So I was a club and bar DJ for 10 years in Sydney, and I loved it. Like, I had a lot of fun. And then suddenly it didn't match my lifestyle because I was training to be a kinesiologist, and I was also a lot into health and well-being. And suddenly, because there was a lot of late nights, a lot of partying, and suddenly it just that stopped working for me. And I decided to move back to New Zealand, and I moved to an island called Great Barrier Island. And this island, I started meditating, I started yoga, and I put my turntables away for about a year while I was on Great Barrier Island. And then I didn't know how I would start DJing again, but I knew that it was such a passion for me and it's such a love in my life, and I needed it in my life, but I didn't know how I would do it again because I didn't want to play for wasted people. So I got myself right, and then I actually discovered five rhythms. On the island, there was this group of women, about five older women, and they were doing these five rhythm dances in a hall. And so I went along, and they just put together a playlist, and that was when I first had experience with a wave. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. I could actually DJ this. So I got my turntables out, and I put some playlists together of that wasn't techno music, that was just all this other music that I had. And I created my own wave and created my own category system that I felt went with the five rhythms, because of course I couldn't use the five rhythms because I hadn't been trained in it. And so then I created this wave, and then I went to my first conscious festival. It was a very last prana festival, and I went there and I saw this woman DJing, and she was doing a static dance, and I went, "Wow! Like, there are actually, this does exist." We DJ'd wave dance, so that was me. Like, from then, I just decided that I was going to do a static dance, and started doing static dance on the island, on Great Barrier Island.
So, for those of you who don't know,
Mm,
because we're going to have an audience who's
yes.
from all over,
Yeah.
New Zealand is the whole place is islands. We have
Yeah.
the North Island, the
Yeah.
South Island, but these are relatively big islands with
Yeah.
cities and things on it.
Yeah.
Great Barrier Island is a small island.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people. So
It's
when you
off the grid as
yeah,
well.
you were like way
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
almost everything, and that was
Exactly.
your sort of your time of
Yeah.
some self-reflection and
Totally.
working with things. And
Yeah.
so you actually started DJing
I
like,
did.
it's a very small community
Yes.
on Great
Like
Barrier.
five, or like I was doing these dances like two or three to like
Yeah.
five people. But yeah, and it was amazing, and I loved it. And then Spirit said to me, "You need to leave the island and start doing this on the mainland." So yeah, so I actually moved to Kaupurapura, and started doing ecstatic dances there, and started
Oh,
applying for all the conscious festivals, and then it just really took off. I just started to get a name for myself as an ecstatic dance DJ. And then I went international,
mm,
and I decided that I wanted to do a international tour of ecstatic dance.
mhm,
So yeah, I did Europe, and then I did the States. I did California,
mhm,
because that's like the mother hub of ecstatic dance.
right.
Yeah, so I did a tour there, and yes, it was probably about 6 years ago now. So I've been,
That you did that tour or
yeah. Oh no, so that I've been
the
doing ecstatic
oh, okay,
dance.
since you started.
Yeah, since
Yeah.
I started ecstatic dance.
Oh,
So
okay. And how
Yeah.
long were you doing other DJing before that?
Well, since I was so I've been DJing now for 20 years.
Since I was,
Yeah, I
yeah,
was like,
should I give that away?
let's just say 20
We'll
years.
say
20
years.
years.
20 years,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So a
So
long
a
history
long time.
DJing,
Yeah,
and I mean, relatively recent, but it's been a
yeah,
while now, pivot towards doing the ecstatic
yeah,
dance.
absolutely. Yeah.
What was it that really drew you into the ecstatic dance? What was it? I mean, I guess you were moving away from the club DJing, but what was it that
Mm.
really appealed to you about that?
I think it was the conscious movement. So
Hmm.
moving your body for therapy,
Hmm.
because it's about moving the body to release any blockages, to release stuck energy, to relieve anxiety. So it was the conscious side of it that I really
Hmm.
loved. That you could actually use dance to heal the body
Hmm.
and to free the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess over the last 6 years or so,
Yeah.
you've DJ'd a lot of different events for people, some that you
Yeah.
run yourself, some, other people's events that you've DJ'd for.
Yeah.
I imagine you get people who have some pretty cool experiences attending those events. Do you
Yeah.
have any sort of stories of people
Uh,
who've told you about the
yeah.
difference ecstatic dance makes to them?
I have actually. I had just recently when I was DJing in Ecstatic Dance, I had this guy come up to me afterwards and he said, "Oh, you don't know me, but I went to one of your ecstatic dances that you did at the NZ Spirit Festival." And he said it changed my life. It was like I was halfway through the dance and I had this huge realization that I didn't need drugs anymore.
Oh, wow.
And because I was still dabbling in it, and I had this mess, and from then on, I stopped doing drugs. And
Wow.
for me, that was just huge because of my background, and also that I was then helping people and having an effect on people to get them to the place where, yeah, where they can feel free and energetic within themselves to not need any other substances.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big one
yeah,
because that's a major hurdle for a lot of people to make that
totally.
sort of final shift away from using
Yes,
substances like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it was great, and I was like, "Can you write me a testimonial?" He was like, "Sure."
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he was, yeah, it was that was really, and I was like, "Thank you for telling me that because that's why I do what I do."
Hmm.
So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And how about, I guess, for yourself traveling around? What are some of the interesting experiences you've had DJing in different places?
Yeah, actually, the story that comes up is that when I was DJing in Oakland, because that was the biggest ecstatic dance, because we have ecstatic dances here, but over in California, they have them like once or twice a week, and they have like 200 or 300 people
Hmm.
like at these dances. It's huge, it's massive. So Oakland is near San Francisco.
Hmm.
So that was one of my like I think it was the second ecstatic dance that I did in my travels. And so there was this man, and he came up to me afterwards, and he said, "That was the best ecstatic dance I've ever experienced." And so I was like, "Oh, wow, thank you so much." And then next thing you know, I was doing my tour and I went to Sacramento and I was DJing in Sacramento. And next thing you know, this guy's like in the, his head pops up and he's in the crowd.
Oh,
He's like,
wow.
and he'd followed
He,
me.
he
He'd followed
followed
me
you
from
on
Oakland
tour.
to Sacramento
Oh,
because
nice.
he loved my ecstatic dances so much. And for me, that was just like, oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And just having like a lot of experience of just meeting new people, and everybody's so in that kind of community, everybody's so welcoming,
Hmm.
like I was always hosted, I was always looked after, I was always, yeah, I was always just appreciated.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Hmm,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of music do you like to DJ for your ecstatic
Mm.
dance? Are there any sort of rules about what sort of music you should use for
Mm.
ecstatic dance?
Well, the rule that they say is that you have to bring in as many genres as you can into it. So not just to keep it too simple and with the
Hmm.
same genre. So when I was touring, I did
But
add.
and what's the purpose of
Yeah.
that? Why?
Oh, so that you can get your body moving in different ways. Because
Right. So
if
it
it's
gives
the
you some different
same,
inspiration
yeah,
from
yeah,
different genres.
different releases. So if you're
Right.
moving your body in a different way, then you're allowing different releases to happen,
Hmm.
and so that if you're just moving, to get your body to move in a different way,
Because
basically.
a different music will inspire
Yeah,
you in a different way, and
yeah,
so you're going to get some
exactly.
different things out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you're just moving in the same way, then you're not getting as much from it.
Hmm.
So, but I tend to now. So when I was touring, I had to put a lot of different genres in. But for me now, like I do shake it up a little bit with different styles of music. But I quite often just now stick with like the Oriental, tribal, ethnic, electronica. Kind of style with mantras and meditation and
Hmm.
so yeah, and because I really like and I really enjoy yeah, just that more kind of tribal, like ethnic kind of style.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Cool.
I don't do hip hop or anything like that, or like kind of add too many of that
Some
stuff
people
into
do
it.
though, don't
Some
they?
people
They
do,
sort of throw it in,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. That different
Yeah.
kind of music mixed in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's the beauty of being a static dance DJ is because you can make it your own. You can like
Hmm.
add the music that you like into it. So, and that's one of my rules is that I only play music that kind of matters to me. Like I won't play anything just for
Hmm.
anyone else,
Right.
Like if I'm not enjoying it, I won't play it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so, how would you describe the ecstatic dance scene in New Zealand? Because you've been involved for 6 years now,
Yeah.
so that's a little while to see what's happened over the last few years and maybe what's happening
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah, yeah. Probably well, a lot more quieter, smaller,
Yeah,
not as many people.
compared to
Compared to
overseas. Yeah,
overseas, absolutely. But it's really taking off.
yeah.
Like it is really taking off, and that's what I love, and that's like my aim is why I do what I want to do because I want as many people to run ecstatic dances as possible,
Hmm.
and for it to all take off, and for it to be amazing. Yeah.
Cool. So, what is it that you do right now? Maybe you can
Mm.
tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a kinesiologist
Hmm.
and I'm a Centaura healing practitioner. So I have a healing practice
Hmm.
that I run. That I see clients. So
Hmm.
that's kind of like one of the main things I do. And then I also do DJ training.
Uh-huh.
So I train people on how to run ecstatic dances.
Hmm.
And then I also just train people on how to DJ as well, because
Right.
not everybody wants to do ecstatic dances. I've just done a vinyl training
Hmm.
because DJing vinyl and DJing turntables is like one of my favorite things to
Uh-huh.
do. Like I love doing that. And I also run ecstatic dances. So
Hmm.
I run a fortnightly dance called Alchemic Dance Floor,
Hmm.
which is just a newly kind of created thing. So yeah, I run that every 2 weeks on the quarter moons.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And why the quarter moons?
Well, that's sort of a story because I wanted to do something different.
Hmm.
Because I was finding that for me, following the moons is quite important, energy wise for
Hmm.
myself and for other people. And so I was doing a static dance every 2 weeks, just every on the same day
Hmm.
on a Tuesday. And then I was finding that it was coming to the new moon, and I wasn't feeling like doing the dances. And there was for me, whenever I try to do a dance on a new moon, it just doesn't work out. Like I don't get the
Oh,
people. It's not that
okay.
it
Yeah.
doesn't work out. I just don't get the people.
Right.
So, and it's not worthy energy wise for me
Sure.
because
Yeah.
I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that vibe from it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I thought, how can I run these dances without doing it on the new moon,
Hmm.
because it always ends up on the new moon. So then I just thought, well, I was actually guided that I would run them on the quarter moons
Hmm.
because they're equally as powerful. You've got a lot of energy, you've got a lot of, when it's coming to the new moon, it's all about release, and the full moon is all about coming into the full moon is all about action.
Hmm.
So it's kind of bringing that into it, and yeah, I just found that the energy was better, and then I could also move it to different days of the week
Hmm.
because it's not easy sometimes sticking to one day because
Yeah.
you've got people that really want to come but they can't make it on that day.
Hmm.
So I was finding that I was actually running them on a Monday,
Hmm.
and there was people that would come and there was some people that go, I can't come on Mondays now. So then I did it on Tuesdays and the same thing. So I thought, why don't I try shifting the days, which happens on the quarter moons as well.
Sure. So it's a natural way that
Yeah,
it's kind of always going to be different
different
days of the week
days.
just because
Yeah.
of the pattern you're
Yeah,
following. Yeah.
exactly. So it kind of felt right for me. It kind of felt right to do that and to just do something different and just kind of make the most of that. And it's working, it's
Yeah.
working because some people can come or they can't come on one day, but they're like, oh cool, it's on a Sunday this time, I can come. Or,
Yeah.
I can only do Wednesdays,
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm getting a lot of different people each time,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
understand you're also getting different DJs involved with this as well.
Yes,
So it's
and
not just
that's
you DJing, you have yeah.
exactly, and that's a big passion of mine because, and this has been something that I've wanted to create for a while, is to train other DJs and then to have them come and play at my dance once I've got the experience, and just allowing other people to contact me and say, oh, I'm traveling, or even international people,
Mhm.
for them to like see that I do dances and to contact me and say, I'm in New Zealand at this time, could I play at your dance? So,
Mhm.
because that's what I did when I traveled around. So I would love to have that for other people.
You never know. There
Yeah.
might be some ecstatic dance DJs watching this right now
Yeah,
or listening to
exactly.
this who
Exactly.
might be, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of going to New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. So look up Alchemic Dance for Ecstatic Dance. It's also Ecstatic Dance Auckland.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm doing it in Orewa. Yeah, so it's super exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So you mentioned you have a healing practice as well
Yeah.
as the things you're doing with ecstatic dance.
Yeah.
Is there a link between the two in some way, or they kind of stay in their own separate
Yeah.
places, or is there
Yeah.
some kind of connection?
Well, there is a connection. I do also incorporate. It's called a meridian energy dance
Hmm.
that I do as like a warm up. So
Hmm.
it's tracing the meridians in the body, and that's directly linked to my kinesiology.
Hmm.
Because for me, like I love to merge all parts of my being into my work, and also like with the alchemic dance floor I created as an association with the Centaura. Light work that I do, which is
Hmm.
a multi-dimensional high frequency light
Hmm.
work that I do. So extremely powerful. So I also bring that into my dances as well, which is
Hmm.
with the name Alchemic, because it's all about transformation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned also that you're now training other DJs. I already knew this because I went to one of your courses.
Yes.
But how has that been for you, making that sort of that transition from just DJing yourself
Yeah.
to now training and encouraging other people?
Oh, amazing. Like I love it. I love seeing the people that I've trained pop up and doing their dances, and I feel really proud. I'm like, oh, they're doing dances. Um yeah, so it's just, yeah, it's been it's a dream of mine. I love teaching too. Like I absolutely love teaching, and I love teaching people how to DJ and how to hold space. Hold space.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's important to me.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part of the I guess the process for ecstatic dance. I mean,
Yeah.
the music, playing the music, that's important because that's
Yeah.
what people are going to dance to.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more than that as well, isn't it? To
Yeah.
create a space for an ecstatic dance that's going to really let people get the benefit
Yeah.
from it. Could you maybe talk us through? Like, what are the key parts of an ecstatic dance? Like, what are all the
Mm.
parts that go into it to create that environment where it can be a healing experience for people?
Mm, mm. It's all about the wave, it's
Mhm.
all about starting. So we're starting from a still point, which is birth, and then we go into awakening, which is, and the music starts to get faster and faster.
Mhm.
So we go from still, then we go into awakening, and then we go to building. And then we go to and spending time in that building stage, which is like building people up, and then going into that climax, which is the ecstatic point. So by the time you get to the ecstatic point, like I say, you want to be waving your hands in the air, like you just don't care, like everything, stuff everything, it's all okay,
Mm.
or like, I love my life, everything's amazing. And then getting to that point and then dropping down into like a journey space, dropping down into a post climax space and spending some time there. And then in that time, things can really start to get juicy. You can start to really feel into your body. And by this point, you want to be feeling like thankful and gratitude and just like everything's okay. And then from there, moving into the closing. So going back to stillness.
Mhm.
So really, it's just around going up the wave and down the wave,
Mhm.
and you can do it a couple of times. Or for me, like I like to do a 1.5 hour wave.
Mhm.
So it's just that 1.5 hour. So I just do the one wave. But yeah, so it's a journey.
Mhm.
It's a real journey of emotions as well. It's a real journey
Mhm.
of emotions. It's a real journey of feelings. It's just a journey of, yeah, life itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Aside from the music,
Mm.
what are some of the other things that contribute to making a really effective ecstatic dance?
Mm. definitely holding space.
Hmm.
So having a really good opening circle and a really good closing
And
circle.
what does that mean for people who
Yeah,
don't know what an
yeah,
opening or
yeah,
closing
yeah.
circle is?
So around holding space, it's like everyone's sitting in a circle,
Hmm.
and just for me, I'm learning and it's evolving every
Hmm.
time of what I want to create. So definitely, like at the start, really explaining to people like what a static dance is and what's going to happen in the process and how they're going to feel and what the rules are, which is no talking and no obviously no talking and wearing bare feet, no shoes. So that's just getting people really clear on what they can expect,
Hmm.
especially if they're new to a static dance,
Hmm.
because it's all about what to create, what they're going to create, and what they can expect.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then closing, like bringing everybody up off the ground and doing like a nice meditation to get them kind of back in their body,
Hmm.
and regrounding them, and then ending in a closing circle again and just doing something fun. Like I like to get everybody um, to say something that what they feel and then to do an action with it. So
Hmm.
like happy, woo, and then everybody else to follow that. So but it's really around, being inventive and what works for you. And yeah, I'm always kind of changing what feels right because I obviously it evolves. But yeah, holding space like that and just yeah, like allowing people to also just being there for when people are going through what they're going through, and saying to people that it's okay to be where you are now,
Mm.
and to just accept that and that it's all okay.
Do you sometimes
Yeah.
find some people have some quite big emotional or physical
Absolutely.
reactions?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that cry.
Hmm.
So it's important for me to hold space with that as well because of the high frequency work that I do, and because of the space that I do create. People can have really profound experiences because it's a healing, and I set it up as a healing space.
Hmm.
So that's why what I do is very special because I set it up in a way where people can shift whatever they don't need anymore and really kind of shift out of that.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What about for someone who doesn't really feel like they're much of a dancer? Do you think that they could still benefit from and enjoy ecstatic dance? Because some
Mm.
people are like, oh, music dancing, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
How do you think that would work for someone who's like, oh, I don't think I'm much of a dancer?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So I always say that rather than you moving your body, let your body move you.
Hmm.
Because if you're just not much of a dancer and you don't really know how to dance or feel like, because normally when we dance to music, it's like a little bit of a shuffle, we'll
Hmm.
shuffle. But once you let your body move you, then I always say I invite people to just see what their body wants to do. So does your arm want to go like this? Does your leg want to go like that? Or your leg want to go like that? Does what do your hips want to do? So it's like you don't really need to dance as such. You just need to let your body move you, but also coming from a massive place of non-judgment.
Hmm.
So yeah, so people, I always say, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And I find that if I create a safe space for people, and I say that, then I'm going to create a safe space for you to express yourself and be who you are and express who you are. Because nobody cares, and that's the thing is people realize, and they are self-conscious because of the
Mm.
way they're moving, or they're not sure because they're not used to dancing like freely or consciously.
Mm.
So they're not sure, but if you just close your eyes as well and just move your body or let your body move you, then by the time that you open your eyes, usually you realize that everybody else is just doing crazy weird shit.
Yes.
So it's okay, and people can kind of relax and open up a lot more within that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably helps for people to understand that
Yeah.
probably the focus of people coming to an ecstatic dance is a bit different from maybe other places where they've encountered dancing.
Yeah.
Where often if their idea of dancing is at like a high school social of some sort
Yeah.
or at a nightclub,
Yeah.
where a lot of the focus is actually external. It's about what is everyone else doing?
Yeah.
How does everyone else look? And they're all
Exactly.
looking at me.
Yeah.
Whereas for ecstatic dance, the
Yeah.
focus is generally much more, what's going on inside me.
Yes,
So we have this
yes.
internal focus rather than
Yeah,
external focus, which really
yes.
changes the dynamic quite a bit, I
Exactly.
think.
Yeah, exactly. So it is around going within, and you can change from having your eyes open or closed as well,
Hmm.
because yeah, because that can help. Like you can go really within, and once you close your eyes, it allows you to actually move a lot more freely and to, yeah, move a lot more freely. And then once you open your eyes, you're like, oh, this is kind of different. So I'll dance a little bit differently here, or I'll dance with some people, or I'll dance, a different way. And it's a kind of like different, yeah, it's definitely different kind of consciousness within the two.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the pattern of the wave probably would help some people as well
Yeah.
because again you like okay someone dancing and they turn up to the nightclub and it's all full on straight away and that's a big shift from
Yeah.
sitting in their car or whatever to go like and now we're dancing full on
Yeah,
compared to it's
totally.
like okay if we have a wave we've got time
Yeah.
to just gently find our way into
Yes,
it and
exactly.
just
Yeah.
gradually and build up to that maybe that higher
Yeah.
energy expression.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah.
So what are your plans moving forwards?
Mm.
You've got your regular alchemic dance floors
Yep.
that you're running,
Yep.
and you've got some trainings coming up as well, I believe.
Yes. So, yeah, so I've got Alchemic Dance Falls every 2 weeks. And then I've got my next DJ Ecstatic Dance facilitator training is happening in January in
Uh-huh.
2013, 2023, 2013, 2023. And that is on the 11th to the 15th
Okay.
of January.
So after all the craziness of the holidays has settled
Yes,
down,
yes. So
yeah,
people are like, right, I want to do a static dance, right? And but right before kind of too many festivals and stuff happen
yeah,
as well.
and beautiful summer weather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So that's nice. So then that's in the Bay of Plenty.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so that is what I've got going on at the moment.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about ecstatic dance for people who are not familiar with it or
Yeah,
anything like that?
yeah. It's a way to express yourself and express who you are and be yourself and not care what anybody else thinks and to just dance, and be free. And I was actually watching a video on YouTube that when I was at a festival in the Czech Republic in Prague, and it was funny because I was all alone and I just was like, I'm going to go to this festival, but I was just getting over the flu, and it was like the coldest week in Czech Republic for like 50 years. It was freezing. I was miserable. I was like, what am I doing here? But then there was this beautiful group of people, and there was this fire that was warm, and there was this beautiful group of people playing this live music and medicine songs. And I was just like, I don't know what else I can do here but dance. So I stood up and I just danced. Like no one else was dancing, but I got so within myself and it was so freeing and it was so beautiful that I was just, for me, it's just like dancing is the way to be yourself and to just get out of your head and
Hmm.
into your body. Get out of your head and into your heart. Get out of your head and just into your soul and just into your unique self and into your being. So, yeah, that's why I do what I do, and that's why I love to dance. That's why I started DJing in the first place. It was nothing actually to do with DJing as such. It was because I loved to dance so much that
Hmm.
I was like, I want to make other people dance.
Hmm.
So that was the reason behind my DJing. I was starting to DJ when I started. So yeah, I love to look out and see people dancing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much for
Yeah.
being on the
Thank
podcast,
you.
Kimber. And we'll put links and things to where you can find Kimber in
Yeah.
the description. I guess you've got a website and
Yeah,
probably a
I've got it
Facebook
all.
group
I've
and
got
all
it
that
all.
sort
I've
of
got
thing.
Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook, website. Yeah, I've got it all.
cool.
So,
So yeah, we'll have all those links in the description if you'd like to get in touch.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me. Amazing.